live stream. It's your intro song.
Yeah. It's got to let people filter in the aisles, you know?
Of course. Filter in the aisles.
Then make a little live show intro song. Welcome to the live show. Where we answer questions and stuff.
Hello.
About last week's build progress. The live show. Are people filtering in?
Yeah.
Anybody watching yet?
Yeah.
Yes, we have one viewer, and it's you.
Oh, we just did a consultation with him.
Oh, hey guys.
Hi.
We just got off a consultation.
We just finished a consultation.
Very good energy.
Moments ago. It got us completely hyped for the live stream.
I was half asleep before, but now I'm awake.
Yeah, we've been working on the Unicell. We were working on it all day. It kicked our butts today. That's true right there. We had a tough day of building. And some days are just kind of like that, I guess. You know, there's really good days where you feel like you get so much done. And then there's days where it feels like you took one step forward and 3 steps back with every move that you made.
Yeah, when you're creating problems that you didn't need to create. It's one of those kind of days. Anyways, that happens. It happens, and you just got to get really angry and yell at each other.
Break
usually
things,
helps. Yeah.
Smash everything.
Yeah.
Hello from PA. Hi.
What's up, Pa?
Hello from New York. Yeah, it's some days are tough, but we've been making a lot of progress. And last Sunday, we put out the little walk around tour of the Unicell just as we bought it. And so we would love to hear just your thoughts, like if it is what you expected, if it's not what you expected. Do you think it's going to be easier or harder than the shuttle bus? Shuttle bus is really our biggest comparison because we've built 2 of them. And the Unicell, it has a lot of differences, but we're actually finding it has more similarities than we thought.
Yeah, dimension-wise, it's pretty close. Yeah, I think we're just, I guess we'll see where this live goes, but field any questions regarding the just walk around. Is the vehicle itself, I guess, if it, anything specifically people are looking to ask, or anything else in general, I guess, within reason.
Mateo's already in bed.
PG here.
Mateo's already in bed. Oh, he opened his eyes at me. Hola from Colombia. Oh, hi from St. Louis. Wow, we're all over the place.
Hola.
Hello from New York. Hello. Very curious about that back door. Yeah. It's I mean, it had to go. We talked about that in the walk around. A garage roll door, there were just so many barriers with it. First of all, it wasn't the actual like coiling up roll door. It went up and kind of on a track, and it blocked the whole ceiling. So if we would have done the nice cedar planks on the ceiling with the lights,
yeah, you'd have to lower the ceiling or lower that part of it and box it in. I guess you could do, but
and every time you opened your door, like you roll up to this beautiful camp spot and you open your back door, it would block your whole ceiling. It would block all the lights, and like we put magnets for the projector and the projector screen. You wouldn't be able to use anything up there if your door was open, which is wildly inconvenient.
Yeah, it'd also be pulling in dirt and moisture, rain, snow, whatever.
Yeah.
Every time you. So let's just say the garage door is already off. Okay, we got rid of that. And there has not been anything put on yet.
No, there hasn't.
We will wait and see on that.
There's so much that you can do with the back of these vehicles. Just in doing some research, we saw so many things that people do. They'll build a whole like house wall on there and put like a regular front door and just so many things. on the back of these vehicles. We've seen doors that hinge up, doors that hinge down, doors that hinge out, the complete house door and front. We saw one with house windows and shutters and planter boxes. So the options are endless.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting where everyone's from. From South Georgia. Hello from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Oh, sounds sweaty. Both those places. How is it down there?
Probably still warm, right?
Honestly, they probably get more days that are tough to deal with, but the humidity here is similar. I wouldn't say it's quite the same. We have more days of relief, but it is still very humid in New York. But I spent a lot of time in the South over the years, and I'm happy I'm not there right now.
We find the humidity in New York to be oppressive after spending the winter out west. Florida just kills us every time we go.
Florida, Georgia.
We're dragging, so tired.
I tell you what, it slaps you in the face too when you come back from being out west all winter.
Yeah.
First day back, first like warm day. I was outside. I'm just like, what is going on?
For me, it's like, why am I so exhausted?
Yeah,
I feel so tired.
A wet slap in the face. You're like, Anyways.
Hi from just outside Cincinnati.
Okay.
You're local to our part of the country.
Yeah, well, sort of. Only like 7 hours away.
Right. Hot and rainy today here in Cape Canaveral. I bet.
Rainy, yeah.
Yep.
That sounds about typical, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Will you keep the white or paint the box fan?
Ooh.
Good question. Hotly debated topic.
The specifics of what exactly we're going to do yet, I don't think we have that, but we do feel we're going to modify the look outside.
Yeah.
So that might be probably not paint. Probably it'll be vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's just probably not a full wrap. Maybe we'll see. Probably just like some accenting things. But we do feel we're going to change that look of it with some, maybe bring a little color into it. So it probably won't stay sterile white how it is.
It is just a big white box.
Yeah.
It's very kind of boring looking on the outside, but adding things like windows and doors, all that kind of stuff, and just like even if we use like the Dickinson heater, just the chimney for that and the solar panels on the roof, that sort of thing, all those components will add character to the vehicle. So we'll have to see in the end if it needs it or not, like what we're feeling. But we probably won't paint the entire vehicle. We haven't done that in the past. Our shuttle bus came with these stripes on the side. There's two blue, I think, and one black stripe. Yeah. It came like that. We did not do that.
I like it.
And then the bus last summer, we kept that white because of all the windows and everything. It looked kind of nice, and it looked really sleek.
Once the rack was up too, just all the contrasting like black.
Yeah.
It actually looked really nice. So
yeah, and
this will be similar, but I think we might do something a little extra. We'll see.
The new owners of that bus, they mentioned that they might get it wrapped. So they might add some graphics and stuff to the side of it. But the Unicell definitely has a lot of room on the sides. You could do a lot of stuff with it.
I feel like wrap is the way to go unless you're trying to paint like a really big bus, like a schoolie or something, and you're trying to be on budget. Then you might want to get into paint, but the wraps look nicer, I think. But if you're doing a full wrap, it's not cheap for a big vehicle. Oh, we got one of those bright green things. So
yeah, we have super chat.
Woo!
Bart. Hey.
Who's that?
Hi, Bart.
Oh, hey, Bart.
Hey, Savannah and Drew. Been a while since I've seen you two, especially on a live. Looking forward to new build. And remember, Drew, no rust is a must. It is the theme. No rust is a must. Because of our first bus. The bus we live in.
When you're building a bus.
So much work.
No rust is a must.
We have another super chat.
When you're building a bus. That's for you, Bart.
How do you...
I can't read. Well, I can read, but I can't see.
Analogias de Lola? I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm Cuban. Now building my bus. Got tips from you. Thank you so much. Tips. Good luck with your bus.
From tips and tips. Thanks for the tips.
Thanks for the tips.
Yeah, good luck. You got this.
Mhm.
Just keep the spirits up, and
Mhm.
you're gonna get it done. I
Yeah.
have no idea what bus you have, but I'm sure it's gonna be awesome.
We believe in you.
Just take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're feeling that today. As we mentioned, like some build days are so good and some build days are so frustrating. Like I said in the beginning, it's like you take one step forward and it is 3 steps back. You didn't plan something right, or you forgot to plan something, you forgot to buy something, and the whole day is just derailed.
The worst is when you bought stuff, but then it didn't show up.
We have had that happen more often than not. We've
Lately.
ordered a lot of stuff for the bus because we build in an area that's not very close to a lot of big box hardware stores, and so we order a lot of things in the mail, and things have just plain old not been showing up. We actually got an empty box yesterday or a few days ago.
The rough part, and we were just talking about this on the consultation, was like, we did order a lot because we do have a pretty clear vision of what we're doing. As opposed to ordering a few things like every couple of weeks. We ordered most of our stuff because we know what we need. But we made a mistake of not like doing a real clear inventory the day it came in or the days it came in.
Right.
So now it's like, wait, where's this? And it's like, did we misplace it? Or no, it just didn't come. So you got to go find the order sheets, and it should be here, and it's not in this box.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's something new I think I learned is when we order all that at once, we need to sit with the sheet and check off what's there and what's not.
Right.
Because you'll run into these dumb problems where you can't put that thing in because you don't have this thing, and I'm going to drive half an hour to the store to get it, or
and this build has been better planned out, of course, than any of our other builds. And I remember some of those build days in this bus that we live in 2020, where we would just spend the whole day sitting in the half-finished bus, just like, what do we do next? What do we
that was most days.
what do we order? What direction do we want to go in? And I guess just the difference between now and then is like night and day. But I remember those days like it was yesterday. So clearly. Same like you, shuttle bus, E350 Ford 2013. Nice.
Okay.
We like the Ford ones.
Those probably similar to, is it, if you want to answer, who's the build of the bus? Is it a Starcraft, a Federal, a Thomas? If you know that, just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Will you add a hinge deck off the back? We thought about it a little bit. We more think that we want to utilize that space that the pull-out ramp kind of comes out of. We were thinking about a deck for that space. So more of like a retractable deck than like a fold-down one. Because we were thinking it through, and if the deck like hinged down, meaning it would have to fold up, if you wanted to just get in there to maybe like stick some groceries inside or get into your storage, you'd always have to climb up onto it. And I felt like it would just be in your way a little bit. But if it retracts and actually like comes out on slides from underneath the vehicle where there's already a spot because of that pull-out ramp, because it was made to be a moving truck, I think that would be like more convenient and kind of not stealthier, but what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I think it would be cool.
We're still kicking ideas around with all that. But I don't think we're going to do the fold-down door. We kind of looked at it, but I think some of the cons we don't really like. I don't love the long-term idea of how well that seals and how hard you have to latch that in, like folding close. I know they make all kinds of rigs like that, but
yeah, they have stuff like that.
But
really heavy duty.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't think we're going to do that, but we are going to try to use that space in some other cool ways.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of clearance underneath that vehicle.
Got a mosquito in here, man.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's going to be torturing us this whole hour.
I almost caught it and then I missed it.
Like a tongue. Yeah. kind of like that. When you two were building the last build, the Ford Vantera shuttle bus, I was going to upgrade to that in the future from my van, but now I'm leaning towards a 4-window Ford Schoolie. What are your thoughts on a Schoolie versus shuttle bus? There's two very hard divided camps. Schoolies and shuttle buses. People are passionate.
I don't know if it's that
People
crazy.
are passionate about one or the other. There's no clear reason why we've never done a schoolie. When we got into our shuttle bus, Drew had just kind of mentioned them, and we started thinking about it, and then we found one. So we kind of just got launched into the shuttle bus part of it. And I don't know that one is like more versatile or easier to build than the other. They all have a lot of windows. They all have like metal to mount to. The floors are different from the school buses to the shuttle buses. I don't know. Maybe it depends on like your skill set. School buses are a lot of metal.
Yeah.
They're all metal. So I guess if you have some fabrication skills, it might be easier for you to like do a roof raise or just simply mount things inside by welding.
Right.
We've always thought about that since we have that ability, since I've been learning to weld, and we have Kevin, my dad. It would be a good idea for us to try a school bus one day.
I mean, I could tell you a few reasons that led us to the shuttle over a schoolie in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was more, the shuttle just checked a few boxes. It wasn't even like I was directly comparing the two at the time. The shuttles tend to be better headroom right away. Right. On average, most of them are over 6-foot headroom. A lot of school buses are not. And there's a lot more smaller shuttles, shorter shuttles, than there are shorter school buses that are of the same size, because you start getting to the real shorty school buses and they're also smaller inside. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of width to these shuttles.
Right. So for this shuttle particularly checked like the total length that we wanted, and it checked the headroom right away. We liked the aesthetic appeal of the windows, I think, more than the school ones, but let's again, not to say we'd never do that, but I do feel like right away with the school bus, most of the time you gotta do a roof raise, at least for someone that's over like 6'2", or someone who's taller like I am. I would need to do that, and that wasn't something we were really looking into when we got into these.
Yeah. Bart says, I hear a lot of others say that the fiberglass is the main issue with shuttle buses versus schoolies and having mainly metal. I was just curious as to why exactly it's an issue, because I never really hear anyone talk about it. Just people just sum it up by saying fiberglass is an issue. I personally
there's different issues for both.
I personally prefer fiberglass because it's not gonna rust.
Yep.
And I did rust body repair on our first van. Personally, I did it. And having to cut out pieces of that van, weld in new pieces for the rust repair, do what is it called? Bondo.
Yeah.
On the body. And I just thought it was such a pain. And so unless you really run into something and crack the fiberglass, you don't have to worry about rust. And for us, there is still the metal ribbing inside of the bus. I can't speak to like specific safety standards, but it does still have the full like roll cage because it was meant to transport people, just like shuttle bus or just like school buses. So we still find there's a lot of mounting points for our furring strips, and I don't know. It's a personal preference. We've been fine with the fiberglass the whole time, but actually the shuttle bus that we did last year, the bottom parts of the walls,
those were actually metal.
Those were metal.
Yeah. We thought it was fiberglass.
The roof was fiberglass, the back was fiberglass, and some of the top was fiberglass, and definitely the bubbly front.
Yeah.
But it had strips of
the
metal
sides were actually metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were surprised by that.
You could get a hybrid.
But the fiberglass doesn't rust is a big one. And I think where people like the metal is it's easier to modify things externally.
Yeah.
You know, you can just cut and re-weld stuff. It's a lot easier to do that than to like cut and modify fiberglass, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was not something we've really wanted to do. So yeah, I think, you know, pros and cons. I don't know. I really like the fact that it doesn't rust.
In the end, our choice was mostly aesthetic. We liked the look of the shuttle bus, and that's what we went with. And we've gotten ourselves into more fiberglass with the Unicell, because that is an entirely
That one's seamless, which is
one piece.
Awesome.
One piece fiberglass body. So we've been
no leaks,
very intimately aware of fiberglass and how itchy it is, and
oh yeah,
when you cut it.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's our thoughts.
Yeah.
School buses, shuttle buses, whatever you go with.
Till the end of time.
There's cool builds in both.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you can build something cool and all kinds of stuff.
Have you guys looked into a recirculating shower? We did at one point.
I looked at that many years ago in the van, because in the van we had obviously a much more limited water capacity. Mm-hmm. Though I had that thing beefed up to 42 gallons by the end, which is insane for like a van size RV motorhome. I don't know. I kept running into where I ran into and kind of gave up was that they can, and there's probably better systems, but they can filter everything out but soap. They don't really, at least the ones I was looking at, like they had a problem with filtering soap. I'm like, well, doesn't that kind of hurt the whole showering part? But maybe there's better ones now, or maybe I just went down the wrong end of that rabbit hole and got discouraged.
Yeah.
I think also in the van at that time, the space was pretty premium to try to pull that off. So I think those two little things discouraged me before I got too deep into it. And then when we got into the bus, it's like our water capacity is so large that, you know, you can get 2 weeks out of our tank pretty easy if you want, 10 days without even trying. Mm-hmm. So is it worth all the extra effort? If you're not doing like a lot of expedition type stuff, or places where you need to stay for multiple weeks, I don't know. Is it worth all the effort for the convenience of just having to get water less? Maybe, but maybe not. I'd have to look into it again. I would love to have it. Like, it sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, it sounds super cool. We looked into it quite a few years ago. Meaning like we also looked into it a little bit when we did this bus and just decided against it. But
I don't know. I should look at it again.
I have seen some things about it recently, so I think maybe they've made some advances with as far as like the filters for the soap.
Well,
and
I'm
stuff.
Sure there's ones capable. Maybe it was just the ones I was looking at.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually do want to try to look into it again. I haven't seen anybody really pull it off in a good way. Mm-hmm. I think maybe some people in the overland community have pulled it off, but everything they're doing is a little bit more extreme, and they're
it is very extreme.
Most of the times the people that are super on their stuff in that community are like a few levels up from everyone else.
yeah, they're very serious overlanding people.
There's a lot of crazy like engineer type people in that game.
I love it. I think it's so cool.
Sure.
It's so interesting what people can come up with.
I want to get the incinerator toilet before the recirculating.
Oh yeah, we've been looking at these incinerator toilets since we were in our van. So 6 years.
Expensive though.
6 years now.
Yeah.
And they've always just been outside our price range, but one day.
A lot of power, and then if you try to get the propane one, it's like it's like a couple grand more, and it's already like a few grand. It's like I don't think I need. I was like, is it worth it? $5,000 toilet.
One day, you know that you're a nomad when you have like a dream toilet. It's our dream toilet. Hey guys, love your design style. We're converting a former fire rescue box van, aerosol. Very similar to your truck. I want to add storage behind the fiberglass skirt. Have you considered this?
Oh, underneath, like an undermount box?
Yeah. Is it a Unicell? It's their aerosol model. Ours is a Unicell aerosol, and then there's a cab width version of that. Ours is the wider version. But yeah, so we were talking about this the other day, adding like storage underneath the vehicle, welding boxes up in there. you'd have to also cut out a part of the fiberglass, and then probably I would put like metal trim on the edges of the fiberglass, and then you'd have to buy or fabricate some sort of door to go over it or something. I don't know.
We kind of did it last year on the bus with the
we did, yeah,
where the propane fill was and the gray water for the shower. There was a hole left from when we removed the AC split. So we were fortunate enough to have a metal fabricator at our disposal to shape the curve the same as the bus.
Oh, he did an amazing job.
And we did actually make a door and put it on there. So it'd be the same process. You would cut the hole you needed, mount your box, weld it into the frame, and then you'd have to either buy or make a door depending on your access to that resource or skill. Or if it's
you can buy
curved,
RV doors.
Yeah, it's just if the curve is too much, you have to, I don't know, you have to either make it or stay in the flatter part. It could be done. The thing to consider there too is, because we kind of wanted to do that on this first bus. I know we talked about doing it. We left the first year and we're like, oh, we're going to do those next summer. But we quickly realized we really like having very little to nothing on the back end underneath, because, you start bottoming out on things. Obviously, you don't want to go below where the fiberglass is anyways, because that's a bad idea. But it's nice being like nothing under there. So
you'd have to be up
you just got to make sure, you don't bring it too low. You can still do it.
Yeah. I was going to use the cutout section for the door with trim. Yeah. Yeah, that would probably be the way to go, or using sheet metal to make a door that kind of locks.
Yeah. You got to reinforce that framing on the back of it too with metal for sure.
Because the fiberglass skirt is kind of like floppy, I think. I think if I'm remembering it right, you can like kind of move it a little bit, so you wouldn't want your door flopping around. It would take a bit of planning, that's for sure.
Could definitely be done.
It can be done, yeah, that's for sure. Bart says, I'm 6'2" and wanted to switch from shuttle to schoolie because Bluebird or Collins I could stand straight up and still have 2 to 4 inches of headroom.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so those are the ones that we see that are like full, like people standing up in them without a roof raise. Because I did wonder about that.
No, I know they do have them. Just when we were looking at a few, they were a lot of lower ones.
Yeah, haven't seen any shuttles I could stand straight up in.
Really?
I'm surprised by that, because
ours is 6'3"-ish.
Yeah, we quite often see shuttle buses that are over 6 foot. Our friend's shuttle bus was 6'7" inside.
Yep.
After the build.
Yep.
After they insulated, put a ceiling in, insulated the floors, put the floor in. It was 6'7". That thing was like a mansion inside.
The bus we almost considered buying this year was 6'7".
Yeah.
Headroom. I guess they vary, in our experience, we've found quite a few shuttles that are taller, but that is always one of our first questions when we call on one.
It's the first question I ask.
Like, can you get a measuring tape on that? Because they're always like, oh man, it's probably like, I don't know, my buddy's 6'7", he could stand in there, but then he comes back and it's like, oh, actually it's only 5'10".
Right.
He must have been crouching down.
Yeah, you got to have them. You have to tell the dealership or person that's selling it, like, can you please go put a tape on the vehicle and inside get a tape measure? I need the exact measurement.
Yeah.
That's what we always say.
Wait, so now we know. Is it all the Bluebirds are taller, or is that just?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I probably could vary too.
Because Bluebird or Collins, I could stand straight up in.
Dude, then awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, because
Drew is
you
the same
answered
height
a question
as you.
that I had, right? So, can I stand in this vehicle? Cool. Now I can consider other options. So if you found that in a schoolie, now you can go look at the other parts of that vehicle to consider worth buying or not. That's, like I said, this met our criteria for a lot of things, and the headroom was one of them.
It did.
So it let us move on to the next thing. If it doesn't have the headroom, I'm skipping to another vehicle.
Right.
For me,
we opt out if the headroom is too low.
I'm not going to adjust to like being like this all the time.
Internal headroom.
We're in here full time, so
Yeah.
I'm not actually doing a build of like this extensive, and then it's 5'10", and I can't even stand up.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, anything we say about school buses, we don't have a lot of experience. We haven't been in a lot of them. I've been in a few builds,
Take it
of
with
course,
a grain of black salt.
once they're finished, but our real area that we know is the shuttle buses and now the unicells. So we have a lot to learn about school buses. Honestly, I always see people doing builds in the school buses, and the rivets scare me. They're always drilling out hundreds of rivets. And I'm like, whoa, like we gotta take all these out. I mean, shuttle buses have their things, but that sounds tough, drilling out all the rivets.
Yeah.
But I mean, fabrication is our strong point, so I think we could do a cool schoolie maybe down the line.
Maybe.
We should do it. Let's see, I gotta back up here. We've been talking for too long. We like to get off on tangents. Any little nuggets you could give us about the new build, or are we keeping it all under wraps for now?
Little nuggets.
Well, on Sunday is episode 1. So you'll see quite a bit about what we're starting. We're just getting back into our space. And I have been doing quite a bit of welding in this vehicle. So then coming up week after that, we're just reinforcing all of the framing. And that's one of the biggest steps in this vehicle, and probably most box trucks.
Yep.
It does not have that internal framing that shuttle buses do. So
not to the strength and quality.
We had to add a lot of that, and I got to learn more welding from my dad, which is really cool because it's a really fun experience to learn from him. Of course, he owns his own fabrication business, and he's been welding for over 30 years. So it's been fun to learn about fabrication, and it's really, really cool. I don't know if he would have ever predicted that I would come to him and say, I would like to weld and learn about fabrication. So it's been really fun for me. I enjoy welding a lot more than I ever thought that I would. And I definitely got to use that skill with this vehicle. It's been more welding than any vehicle in the past.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't give too much away.
I know.
I won't say much, but I'll say we are pretty excited about our plan for our main entry door. Yeah, that's going to be cool. So you'll see what that means soon enough.
Multiple points of entry for the vehicle, multiple doors, whatever that means. What does that mean? How many gallons of fresh water do you guys carry in our own bus and the last bus we built? We did 75 gallons of fresh water.
Yep.
Which is a really good capacity for 2 people to be out for 2 weeks with showers every 3 to 4 days and normal dishes and cooking.
Yeah, I know. I always think those numbers are most of our time we're really on the road is the winter. So it's like here we're usually working in the shop or something. It's like we have access to water every day. So,
right.
You want to shower a lot more when you're working and it's hot and you're sweating.
Yeah.
And when you're hanging out and it's cold out, it's like, okay, I don't need to shower every single day.
Right.
So yeah, if you need to shower every day, you would need a bit more water than that for sure. But yeah, it's a good amount. I feel like we get 10 days without like really even trying to conserve.
Yeah.
Honestly, the dishes, that's where you got to pay attention. You can just blow through water on those. It's best if you kind of just try to do them all at once, and that'll save you a lot of water. Like that's when I know we're not going into town for longer, I won't let Savannah do any dishes basically.
Yeah,
because I'll conserve the water a lot more, and you can get several extra days out of that if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I try really hard to conserve water doing dishes, and Drew is way better at it than I am. And
that's you trying hard.
He always says I use it as an excuse to make him do dishes, but I'm not good at it. Putting the water on a trickle.
Yeah.
I try though.
Another nice thing to have if you are someone who likes to stay out for like 2 weeks or more, you can just get a few of those expandable like 5-gallon plastic fill-ups. We have them. We don't really need to use them, but they have them for like if that was the plan like you're going really far down like a long dirt road.
We used them once last season when we were out west.
And you can just get like, you just grab 10 extra gallons of like drinking water or something. And then as soon as they're done, they collapse back down to nothing and you store them. So it's nice having those sort of options if you are someone who is going to take those kind of journeys. Because if you are down 20-something mile dirt road that's really rough, you want to stay as long as you can. You don't want to have to rush back for water.
Right.
So you can use it in that instance.
Let's see.
What do we got?
Nomad Dream Toilet. We all have goals to strive for. Oh, Greg Zeiss in the house.
What up, Dutch?
Mine and Drew's new band name, Dream Toilet.
Dream toilet, the Dutch brothers writing a song about a dream toilet. Oh yeah.
I need a good advice to ease my fears in making the jump into bus life. Probably. This is the same person that said that they had bought a bus.
I thought maybe they were doing like bungee jumping.
No.
We need advice to ease the fears. Just gotta jump in, man.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if it's a man or a lady, or
need good advice.
Just gotta jump in, person.
Well, why does it matter?
No, it doesn't. I just realized I said just stop.
It's my personal perspective that things are difficult in life often, and so just choose your difficult, because living in a house, things go wrong. Living in an apartment, things go wrong. Living in a bus, things go wrong. And things go beautiful and wonderful in all those scenarios as well. So for us, anything that is difficult with this lifestyle, I think it's worth it for the freedom that it provides. And we just absolutely love being able to pick up and travel wherever we want, visit friends all over the country. It really fuels us. And so we fell in love with the lifestyle years ago, and I still feel that I love it just as much now as I did back then.
Yeah, life's really hard anyway you shake it. So if you can make something happen that you enjoy, make it happen. In
the most positive way possible. Life is very hard.
Savannah's always got to have the more positive version. That's even me cleaning up. Like, man, I don't know. Drew seems positive. No, I'm super negative half the time. I got to clean it up. But no, it's you're going to face challenges whatever you're doing. So if it's something you want to do, just do it for sure. Yeah.
Life is short.
And I guess from like a practical standpoint in the build, like maybe keep it a little simpler. If it's your first build and you're just trying to get into everything, just maybe keep it a little more simple. Do what you want to do for sure. But if it's about getting out there to get on the road to do something, try to simplify the build a little bit. We were in a van for 4 years. We always say this. And in a lot of other people's rigs and stuff, and around it for a long time before we did a big full build, which I think helped us a ton. It wasn't like we were starting from scratch. People do it and do a really good job because there's a lot of resources online and all that, so you can do it. But if you don't have any crazy needs, I would keep it a little simpler.
Yeah, we really advocate for that a lot in all the consultations that we do. If it's your first build and you don't have a lot of experience, just take some of the pressure off of yourself. And a lot of people came to know us through this bus that we're sitting in. And it's a fairly intricate build with a lot of like little features and things. It wasn't our first go at it. We were in a van for 4 years. We knew what we wanted and we had some experience. So the goal of this lifestyle is to get out there and experience the things that you haven't seen before and see new things and meet new people and enjoy the community. There's a really wonderful, tight-knit community of people doing this because we all believe in the same things. We're all doing this for the same reasons. So you'll find your people out there, and it's more worth it to be out there living a life, experiencing it, than it is to be stuck in your bus in a driveway somewhere, like obsessing over your cabinets or something. So if you're feeling frustrated, simplify. Okay. I don't like recirculating shower due to fecal matter leaching into shower water.
There you go.
The best I have seen is Snow and Kurt RV. Check them out on YouTube.
Yeah.
They came up in my feed the other day. I never watched one of their videos, but I'll check them out.
I'm aware of them a little bit.
What brand shuttles have y'all seen that are tall so I can research? When I look online for dimensions, I can never see inside dimensions.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a tough.
They never know how long the vehicle is either. I guess in my mind, those are the most important things, but apparently in reselling a shuttle bus, it's not. They're usually list like passenger size is something they might list.
Yeah.
You got to call and you got to ask and you got to get them to put an actual measuring tape on it, because they're always going to tell you something, and at least half the time they're going to be wrong.
It's quite a bit of legwork.
They're going to be wrong about the length, and they're going to be wrong about the height and side. Not all the time, but we've had plenty of times when they actually went out there with a measuring tape. They came back with different numbers. As far as the brands, I think it's all over. You know, we've had a Federal.
Yeah, we've seen StarCraft.
StarCraft was a little shorter, and that one's like 6'1" in there. Yeah. After everything, our friends have Thomas, and that one is at least it's like the same box as this almost, maybe taller a little bit. What was the super tall one that Zach and Fiorella had?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, that thing was tall.
They're all over the place. They really are. I know some of the buses are low floor, and it means they just drop the floor to get more headroom inside, but that also just bottoms out your clearance.
Yeah.
Underneath the vehicle, so
yeah,
it's tough. It is tough.
You gotta call and ask though. Any of the ones that are like a little bit bigger, you usually don't see ones that are under 6 foot, at least in my research, unless they're like the smaller shuttles. The ones that are like almost like a van.
Usually the turtle top ones are not.
Those are usually like 5'10".
Those are usually pretty small inside.
It's like 5'10" or something like that.
From what I've seen.
There was this one we were in one time though. It was called a Pinnacle, which I haven't seen them. They're like, it's basically a Mercedes. It's a Sprinter with like a sweeter box on the back. And it had 6 foot, like 5 or something. It was 6'6". It was real tall.
I've seen some Goshen ones.
Goshen. Okay, now we're just rambling. So yeah, pretty much you got to find the listing. You got to go ask what's the headroom, like floor to ceiling inside of the bus, and if the length is important to you, you got to ask those 2 things.
Yeah.
And then maybe width.
How do you plan to attach your solar panels? I'm terrified to put holes in the pristine fiberglass roof. The struggle. The struggle is real. You have to.
Well, depending on what the rig is, there's other ways to do it. But.
With these vehicles in particular. Yeah, you gotta attach it to the framing of the vehicle. All that weight up there with the solar panels, maybe a deck or something. It's got to be attached to the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get into the main frame. So it's really not as scary as it sounds. The scary part is making sure your measurements are perfect beforehand, or as close as they can be. You know, like with most cuts on fiberglass, just put the tape on there. That helps a lot so it doesn't splinter out. And then you're going to seal the heck out of it after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you really want to put anything of significant weight up there, you need to get through and get into the framing, and you're gonna have to cut all the fiberglass. There is, if you have that side channel thing.
Yeah,
our friends did it that way, where there's like a thing you can get that clips into it, but that's a particular bus, so it has like a little side, like mini gutter. It almost looks like you could use
make
that.
little brackets for that.
I think that is one of the things with like steel, like school buses. People like, it's a lot easier as far as like mounting. You can kind of mount anywhere on that.
Yep. As far as the unicells, I mean, yeah, you gotta get into the framing on those. There's
and with those you gotta add framing. So we're adding much more rigid 2-inch square tubing.
Yeah, the tubing is run all the way down the sides of the vehicle, across the top, and it's welded into what? I've been talking for too long. Angle.
LFO.
I'm like, it's an L shape angle that is run along the base of the vehicle, welded into the frame. So it's all connected to the frame of the vehicle, and then the solar panels will be attached onto that, which makes us feel a lot better than the hat channel that was in there just kind of glued to the walls.
Yeah. You'll see that. That'll be in like next episode or
school
something.
buses come in different heights depending on their a travel bus, one that has storage boxes already in them, are taller on the inside.
Right.
Saying hi. Hello. My dad and a lot of uncles are welders, had a few family businesses in welding. Us too. Welcome to the Fabricating Club. Let's see. Actually got an uncle welding my cargo rack here soon. That is invaluable.
All these welding uncles.
I know. If you know a welder, consider yourself lucky, because welding and fabrication is so valuable on these vehicles. You can really do a lot of cool custom stuff if you know bumpers and storage boxes. It's a really valuable kind of skill to have, or to know someone that has that skill.
I think you're learning that the entry point isn't the craziest. It definitely is like refining that skill and being good at it.
Yeah.
But there's many levels of it. And then a huge thing is access to having welder or different kinds of welder, and then metal.
Yeah.
If you have somebody that has access to all, they already have all that equipment,
all the safety equipment, like
that is huge, because it just makes the entry into doing that stuff a lot quicker.
Yep.
If you have to start from scratch, it's a lot more. You got to get your own welder, or there's different styles of welding too, so it depends what you need to do.
After getting stuck in the mud, would you consider adding a winch to the build? Yes. It is such a good idea. We probably could have gotten ourselves out had we had a winch.
Or a couple.
Or a few. Definitely one on the front, one on the back would have been ideal, but if we would have had at least one winch and the proper equipment to attach it to the trees, we could have gotten ourselves out. If we had waited it out. But
I think even with the winch, though, we would have had to wait a while, because that particular scenario, because we had to spin the thing around. Though if we had a winch on the back that was mounted properly, maybe, because then they could have pulled it straight back, because even if we had mounting points on the back, he might have been able to pull us straight back into the road.
Yeah. So a winch will definitely be included somewhere in the future here. It's pretty necessary if you're going to be off-roading. It's just a really good thing to have. I truly love your bus build. I would love one built like the one you guys built last. Thank you. I love that bus. That last bus has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
It really does.
I hope we get to see it again.
I know, me too. Northwest Bus Sales. Thanks, guys. I've come across a lot of turtle tops. I was looking at a lot of short shuttle. Someone says that they have a 2011 E350 shuttle turtle top. It's 6'3" inside height.
See, every time we say something, someone comes out and nope, you're wrong.
They are so chaotic.
I think it just varies a lot. Yeah. I think the last person made the best comments. Like, what were they made for, right?
Yeah.
So if it was a fleet that was made to carry school children, they probably don't have the tallest one. If it was made to carry a high school sports team around or a college sports team around, it's probably going to be bigger.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point.
So I guess it just can vary, but it really, where's it coming from? Why was it originally commissioned?
Right.
Because that's all they're doing. That's why these are out here, is companies are commissioning full fleets of these normally. So, whoever it is, Ford or Dodge or whoever's making the chassis, is just selling it to a bus company, and the bus company has probably been commissioned by a school district or some sort of transportation, like with the shuttles, a lot of times the airports and all that stuff.
Right.
There'll be a company that does a lot of shuttles, so they just order the same thing. They order a whole fleet of them. So I think that's probably the best point, is like, what was it made for in the first place?
What was it ordered for?
You really can't necessarily see that, when you're looking at a listing. You have to call. You do start to get eye for the size of them a bit after a while, but they kind of look very similar in the photos. They can be deceiving, but there are some tells like the windows and then the part above for height, the part that extends past the cab. When you've looked at enough photos from the outside, you get a pretty good idea of the height, but not always. The photos can be tough.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's a lot of useless information, Drew. Thanks. So what you're saying is you have no clue.
It's hard. It's hard to just look at a photo and tell the size of a bus. That's really hard. Even as many as we've looked at and purchased. Love your channel. Y'all inspired this 2004 Ford E350 turtle top van Terra build. Our fiberglass was crazed, so we rolled bed liner over the shell. V10 bad MPG, but we love it. It's 6'3" inside.
Nice. Yeah, that's what ours is about.
Nice.
That ours is about 6'3".
Yeah.
It's a little bit taller on the one. There's some like slight gradient because right by the bed I feel like it's like if I like stand up I can like get my head to the
There is
ceiling.
a slight curve to this ceiling, but it's not much.
Yeah.
So you rolled bed liner on the outside of the shell, like the textured bed liner.
I think you're saying like to seal the roof.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's interesting. I would like to hear more about that.
Yeah, how did it work? Is it leak free now?
That sounds fun. We have that gutter on our shuttle bus. Do you think it would hold a mount for the solar panels?
Well,
can't say for sure.
We can point you to someone who's done it.
Yeah.
And they might be able to give you advice.
Yeah, we can't say for sure, of course, without seeing exactly what it is. And we have not done that method, so we would not be the best people to advise you on that. But yeah, our friends go there free. They're on YouTube. They did that with their bus. So if that's something that you want to look into, they have a bunch of videos about
maybe go check out theirs and their videos that pertain to that and see if it is the same exact thing or not. We haven't done that. We've just, like I said, we saw they did it and they've been fine with it so far. So I mean, it seems to be strong enough.
What about the solar panels that glue down? That glue on with the winds have those on their catamaran. I also saw the Foxes with their narrowboat having glued down panels.
You're talking about like flexible panels, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what you mean, like the flex panels.
I don't think there's any problem with them. In the past, and I haven't really looked deep in them for a couple of years, they tend to have a lot lower efficiency. The solid panels you're seeing over 20% efficiency, and I think the flex ones, at least when I was looking into them a lot, were more like in that 14 to 16 range. So your rated 200 watts is going to be quite a bit less, and over one panel is not much, but when you start getting to 1,000 watts,
right,
it's not the highest yield, and they also kind of have a bit of a drawback. Since they're directly on the surface, when panels get hot, they are less efficient as well. So having that air gap is a bit beneficial with like standard panels, because they don't get quite as hot, because that roof is getting hot and hot, So they work fine. And if that's like the best thing for your application, I don't see a problem with it. I've never used them. That's all I've ever really known or heard about them. So I would definitely reference someone who's done it, and they might be saying, no, they're really good. I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't looked into it recently, but that's initially what we learned about them, and then just kind of stopped looking at them because we have the space and ability to mount the regular solar panels on a roof rack. So I guess we'd have to look into it more. Let's see. Okay, we're kind of coming to the end here, so we'll just do a few more questions from the chat. Are you ever going to redo a smaller van? Yeah, maybe. We thought about it this year. We thought about maybe doing like 1 or 2 at a time, since they are so small compared to buses.
Yeah, I think we do a few if we did it.
it's really appealing to do a smaller build because it's so involved to do a full shuttle bus or the unicell. It's a big build, and so the vans, it feels like just a smaller project. We would get it done a lot quicker. So we thought about doing a few of them and selling them. We still might in the future.
You still could.
Yeah.
I think
it'd be fun.
Part of what has maybe steered us away a little bit from that is that space feels very crowded.
It feels very narrow.
Building.
The actual space of the van, what pulled us away from the vans?
Oh, you're talking about the physicals, that as well.
Oh, you're talking about the
kind of for both.
The metaphorical space.
I was talking about more of like if you're building to resell space, like the market is like hot, like people want them, but it's also super crowded with people like building them. I don't know that it would be an issue to sell it, but yeah, I always feel like it's just a million people making them, and there's already so many out there like used too. Yeah,
and this year we just wanted to do something different.
I think, but I do think you were on to the other part is like once we got into we were in a van, for 4 years, and we loved it. But I think once we got this width, it's like hard to go away from it. It's that human thing of like as soon as you get a luxury, it becomes like you think it's a necessity. Having the width in here is just so nice,
and especially now with the unicell, we're absolutely spoiled. My voice is giving out. We're absolutely spoiled with the unicell now because that's even wider than the buses, and we thought the buses were wide. So now getting into something like a panel van or sprinter van, it's like
feels squeezed.
How do you turn around in here?
Feels squeezed. Even though we did it for 4 years.
But we did that for 4 years. I mean, not in a sprinter. We were in a vintage Econoline camper. It had a high top on it, but looking back on it, it's like, wow, our walkway was so small compared to what we have now.
The build should be quicker, but it is way harder to build in those spaces. I remember that when we were doing renovations on ours.
It was smaller.
Just like physically being in there working on stuff was like, I'm so cramped. I had to like contort my body in weird ways. And here it's like a lot easier.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll see, maybe, but
maybe one day. Let's see. Family tried to teach me to weld, but I decided at a very young age I didn't want to work outside, so I became a bartender for 20 years. That'll do it. That's inside
That'll keep you inside for the most part. Yep. Unless you're at like a tiki bar, poolside.
Outside bartending.
Yeah.
Needing a rescue, you should watch Matt's Off-Road Recovery in Utah. Shows how to get yourself out of difficult situations. A soft shackle will help you attach a winch to a tree.
Yeah.
You're so right. The guy that pulled us out talked about Matt's Off-Road Recovery and how we should watch their YouTube channel. And that reminds me that I have to take a look at that. It is really interesting to watch some of these recoveries, even the recovery that guy had done. There was some crazy stuff that they pull vehicles out of canyons and pits and crevices. It's like crazy and really, really terrifying. And sometimes it is really, really dangerous. So it would make a really good YouTube show.
Yeah, what do you keep saying? That whole idea is mechanical advantage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the idea of like how pulleys and stuff work. You always, and you need to use the trees and stuff when you get in a real bad spot to pull it off.
Been watching both your bus builds as I am now 6 months into my shuttle bus build. When I heard you were in CT, I was sad that I missed you as your video release, as I would have had you over to sleep in my driveway. Good luck in your new build. Thank you.
Just on the driveway.
Good luck with your shuttle bus build.
Like, all right, here's my driveway, and here's a pillow and a blanket.
In our bus.
No, we didn't have the bus, though. Well, we had the new one after,
But now they're 6 months into their shuttle bus build.
6 months? Nice. You got to be making some serious headway.
Yeah. I saw a shuttle that was built for a college basketball team, and it had a 7-foot interior.
Oh,
height.
Shoot. Yeah.
That's the bus. That's the bus to get.
Yeah. That would make sense. Like this Unicell one, if you have the drop floor in there, which just means they didn't build it above the wheel well, it's almost 7 foot, which is crazy. So, yeah, exactly. Oh, man, that's the one to get, the college basketball one.
We like the pull-out deck idea. Possible storage tank under the deck, solar awning that pulls out over the deck. Can't wait to see your choices. Yeah, that solar awning. We've talked about that for a few years. We have. Try adding a receiver front and rear.
Yeah.
So the winch doesn't sit out in the weather. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That's the way to do it for sure. Yeah, you have the option to move it.
It's complimenting my hair.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. The hair is on point, Savannah, looking a lot lighter than in the past, and the highlights are looking good. Thank you. This was unplanned. I went to my hairdresser and she said, "Can I do something fun?" And I said, "Sure." And so she put all this blonde into the front of my hair. So it's lighter for summertime.
Yeah.
You get natural highlights.
Strawberry
His
banana.
hair. Yeah. Okay, let's just do a few more. Sorry I missed you. Almost. Dump water, shop, and propane. One day is exhausting. Catch you next time. Love from Wyoming for the summer. Yeah, that's a lot of chores in one day. But now you're good to go. You can go out to your campsite. You can stay for weeks. You're good.
Oh, there's somebody camping out there.
Dump water, shop, and propane in one day.
Yeah. Wyoming, are you in the fun part, hopefully? Wind River and all that?
Yeah.
It's time to be there. I've never been there, really.
Yep.
Hear about it, though.
Oh, yeah. I think we're good, guys. We did a consultation before this. We worked on the Unicell all day. Mateo's already under the covers over there, so we are gonna head out. But this is our second weekly Wednesday live. We love just kind of sitting and chatting with you guys, and of course, on Sunday it'll be the first episode, and so we'll really get going into some of the processes and some of the choices and just like building steps. And a lot of people have questions about that, and
it should be nice.
We can kind of chat about it, and it's just fun for us to connect with you guys.
It should be nice kind of going forward from here because there'll be more specific, in-depth things to talk about.
Yeah.
Referencing the previous episode. So, or we'll just probably answer more questions about why we picked the shuttle bus over school bus.
Yeah.
That's like a question that anyone that lives in either gets forever.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
We haven't answered that one on a live before. I think we may have answered it in consultations, but there is a lot of work to do on this vehicle, and we're really excited for you to see episode 1 and kind of get it going. So we will see you next Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll see you Sunday for the episode, and then we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Again, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yep. Make sure you get your popcorn ready, and we'll be back very soon.
You want to play us out with some music?
Oh, sure.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.